This is Series 2, Episode 22. Today is the 5th of November 2022, and I see some new setups, guys, I want to talk about. But before I do, I will talk about the previous video that I did in Series 2, Episode 21. So that was my last video, a couple of weeks ago. I'll talk about that stock, which is what you see on the screen here. Before I start, as always, I'm not responsible for your trading decisions, so I have to give this disclaimer. Everything I talk about in this video is for informational purposes only. If you decide to take action upon that information, that is your decision. You are responsible for all of your trading decisions. I can't give you advice, guys, so if you comment on these videos and say, oh, should I buy this, should I do that, I cannot give you advice. I have to stress that to you. I'm showing you what I'm seeing and what I'm likely to trade. That's all I'm doing. So, a couple of weeks ago I talked about this stock. Ticker symbol IMVT. My trade idea was a breakout of this line here, which is what we call a high type flag breakout. There was the breakout there. I put it on the video, you can see it if you want. And this is why it's often, not always, but I personally always try to wait for a little bit to see if you can get a better entry. So it broke out and you could have got it in somewhere here, but the better way to do it is to wait. And as you can see, as price broke out, it came back down to test the breakout point before moving. That often happens. And as you can see, this stock, very, very nice, up over 20% since that last video. Now I can promise you, absolutely 100% novices would see this kind of stock and see a rally like this and say, that is ridiculously high, I'm not buying that. But that's why it's a good stock. If a stock is, the price action is telling you that there's a big rally on that stock and it's now moving sideways, consolidating, and is likely to move again. This is what the novice traders don't see. You have to think differently to novice traders. You have to think like a professional, and the money's telling you on the screen, the price action, that is a very, very nice setup and is more likely to break up than down because of this big move and then a sideways action. So there you've seen it, guys. You saw the previous video, hopefully, and again another nice looking stock setup. But now on to new pastures, so to speak. I can see some new stocks setting up, nice little patterns here, and I think you might be interested in my analysis. So I'm going to go over and speak about each stock in detail. So the first one is Gilead Sciences, as you can see up here on the top left hand corner. Ticker symbol GILD. Now, as I often do, I start with a bigger time frame just to get an idea of where price is likely to head. So I see this, I've drawn this in myself. I see price, if it decides to move, I think it's likely to hit 85. So that's my target price based on what I can see on this price action and this price chart. This weekly time frame up here, weekly chart. Each bar is 1 week's worth of price action. So that is my target, 85. I'm not too worried about what the company does. I'm basing my analysis purely on price action here. I've checked the earnings. There is no earnings to worry about until next year, so I'm all good on this one. And now I'm going to talk about my trading plan. If you decide to act upon my trading plan, that's your decision. I'm just going to explain what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to go down to the daily chart and show you some detailed analysis on why I like this stock. So this is the same stock, but now we're looking at a daily chart, and I want to explain to you now what I'm seeing. First of all, those regular people that watch these videos, these my regular subscribers, will know I talk about volume and price action a lot. Now look at this volume here. Volume is really important in the market. And what I see here, guys, is what you call a gap up on momentum. So what I mean by that is you see this gap here. Stock opens, the market opens, the stock gaps up. There's a big gap there, here. And when I say gap up on momentum, I mean volume. You see the amount of trades going on as it gaps up, creates this great big spike. So that is a gap up on momentum. Very powerful. And it's good to watch these stocks, and now often they can do this and crash back down again. So you have to wait to see what the market is telling you. And what the market is telling me here is this is now forming not a high type flag, it's a flag. A high type flag is different. It's a gap up on momentum with a small flag here. So here is your flagpole, up, sideways action, and as you can see it looks like we're breaking out. Now I've drawn these two horizontal lines to represent the ceiling for price previously and the floor, where what I mean is where the price is sideways. I wanted to see that area broken. Now we're seeing that area broken here. Price is trying to break through this high point. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It looks like it's trying to break out. The only thing I don't like is the volume is down here on this particular breakout point is not particularly high. But I'm going to discuss my trade idea with you. Again, if you want to take my trade idea, that's your decision. I'm just explaining my trade plan and idea to you. So let me get rid of some of these drawings because it's a bit messy. Make it a bit clearer for you. Now, we've got this flag formation, flagpole, sideways action, breaking out. Here's my trade plan. I want to get in on this stock as close to 80 as possible. I know that my target is at 85 because I showed you that on the previous chart. My stop loss will be at maximum no more than 70. So if it goes any lower than 75, I'm out of this trade. What that gives me is a roughly 6% risk reward. 6% up, 6% down. So 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. And so I know what my risk is before I go into the trade. And I know that if it goes wrong, I absolutely will be out and take a loss if it hits this 75, probably maybe 76 even. Because if it starts taking out these low points here, the chances are it's going to go down. 75 is an absolute worst case, probably more likely to be there. So there's the trade idea. Target 85, stop loss 75, representing 6% risk either way, which is 1-to-1 risk reward. Remember, trading is not about being correct all the time, it's about risk management. So if I get to 85, if I'm lucky to get there, then at that point I will close some of the position, the majority of the position, and then let a tiny piece of the position run, because it could continue to rise. So there's the trade plan, guys. Gilead Sciences, ticker symbol GILD. I've checked the earnings reports, there's nothing out until next year, so I think there's a good chance this could succeed. And bear in mind that the majority of the markets, if you look at them, are absolutely dropping. Majority of stocks are dropping like a stone. Yeah, look at this one. Why is this moving higher? The price action tells me all I need to see. Okay, I've done that to the death now, I think, as explained. Now I'm going to talk about one more stock for you. This one's called Knowles Corporation, ticker symbol up in the top left hand corner, K for kilo, N for Norman. So KN is the stock, ticker symbol. This is a weekly chart, just so you can see the historical price action, and you can see we're right down here and we were right up here. So just wanted to show you the weekly chart first of all. Now you see where we are. Now I will show you what I'm seeing on the daily chart. Now this is not a confirmed breakout yet, whereas the previous one is. I'm just going to show you what might happen. So let me go down to that daily chart now. Similar kind of thing here. Can you see the gap here? There's a gap. So the stock opens and it forms a gap here and then rallies. Now this is not such a nice looking setup, to be honest, but I'd still like it anyway if I can see a break of this area. So this is, like I say, gap up, and we got some sideways action. I want to see price break through this level here, which is around $14. I have to see it break through. Then what I'd like to see is for price to come back down and test the breakout point. So like I said, it's not as clean as the other one, the previous one, which was GILD, but I do still think this has got potential. I'm watching it, but again, not as nice. So let's see, keep your eye on this one if you want, get it on your watch list, see if we can get a break of this level, $14. We want to see price through it. Let me just clean this up. I want to see price go through this level and then come back down to test it. And then my trade idea, my trade plan, again, my trade plan, not yours, up to you how you trade, would be I want to see a break, come back down. My entry, I want to try and get in on this stock around 14, and my stop loss on this one would be at 13. So again, I know before I enter the trade how much my risk is and my potential reward. So if I'm going to risk, which is, sorry, I didn't explain, but if I get in at 14 and it goes to 13, that's a 7% drop, roughly thereabouts. So I want to look for at least 7% if it breaks out. So a 7% risk, 7% reward minimum, hopefully more, because we've got, if you zoom out, there's no real resistance on the way back up. So this could, I'm not saying it's going to, could go all the way up here, who knows. But just showing you that one as well, guys, because that is a gap up on momentum as well, the same as the previous stock. So there's two stock ideas. The previous one's definitely a nicer looking setup, but this is also showing an interesting signal here. Price action is definitely showing bullish price action despite the market turmoil. This is trying to, look, on Friday it went higher when the rest of the market, sorry, Thursday was where the most turmoil took place, but this is definitely, we need to see a break, up here and then come back down, and I like it. So there they are. There's the two stocks, guys. It's really nice to see that previous video, IMVT, doing well. There we go. Let's see what happens with these two. If you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you in another video very soon. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.